Hey, this is Sam Black with the finals of my M13 draft with red black. So I believe I'm on the play here, and I have a lot of mana and a Magma Quake and a creature that can live through Magma Quake, so that's usually going to be good enough in limited. A sweeper and a creature that turns it into a one-sided sweeper. Gives me something to do at some point in the game so that it's not super suspicious when I just don't do anything for the first 4 turns. Whenever that happens, there's a pretty good chance your opponent has a sweeper. You can start thinking about playing around it. Draw Chronometon, best card in my deck. Wish I had it on turn 1, but it's fine on turn 2. And this is also going to be just a great way to conceal Magma Quake. Very common to play off curve when you have a Chronometon. Just pump it up. So, you know, it's not terribly suspicious to just pass and pump here. I mean, obviously I don't have anything I could play if I wanted to, but it doesn't make it look like I, you know, kept this hand on the back of a sweeper or something. And here again, rather just put a counter on my Chronometon, even though I could play this Primal Clay that would get bigger, or would live through the Magma Quake. And I'm going to take a hit from the Water Courser. It's fine. The opponent plays an Entrancer. I pump up my Chronometon. And if my opponent had played some kind of normal attacking creature, I would make a 1/6 here. But with a creature like this, I think it's better to just make a 2/2 flyer. So do that. And pass. And I'm just going to take another hit from the Water Courser. And my opponent plays a zombie. I make my Chronometon bigger. Now, my opponent has kind of a lot of power. If my opponent has a removal spell for the Chronometon, it would be pretty bad if these things hit me. At the same time, I don't really want to Magma Quake my Chronometon away, so I'm just going to put another creature into play. And my opponent unsummons my Chronometon. So now I'm going to trade my Scorpion. Take some damage from the Courser. My opponent plays Sign in Blood. Notably, passes with the mana up after not pumping Water Courser all the way. So likely has a counterspell of some sort. And I'm just going to Essence Drain this thing. If that gets countered, no big deal. I still have the Magma Quake to kill it, but I don't really want to run the Magma Quake into a negate here, and the Magma Quake will probably be good later. That resolves, so probably not looking at a negate. And play the Chronometon, and we see that the counterspell was Essence Scatter, but Chronometon on turn 7, not really that big of a deal. Fine getting it countered. And my opponent gets back Sign in Blood with Archaeologist. And also plays a Harbor Bandit, giving me a clean 3-for-1 with the Magma Quake, which I will accept. Cast the Sign in Blood, cast Water Courser. I'm just going to attack and play both of my creatures. No reason to play Sign in Blood here. I can just cast Sign in Blood next turn. And with this much pressure and my opponent at this life total, there's a chance that I'm going to want to Sign in Blood them. My opponent leaves this backed block here rather than trading when I have almost twice as much life as my opponent and another creature that's definitely getting through. So I'm just gonna attack and offer the trade with the Scorpion. If my opponent takes it, the reason I don't Sign in Blood first is if my opponent takes 3 here, then I'm just gonna hold the Sign in Blood and try to attack for 3 next turn, make the Sign in Blood lethal. Given that they trade, I figure at this point it's probably better to just Sign in Blood myself. And I draw another creature, and my opponent concedes here. They probably don't have Mutilate in their deck, but I can, if their hand is just lands, maybe a ground creature, it's pretty reasonable to conclude that they just won't be able to deal with 2 evasive creatures when they're at 6 before they die. Second game. I'm on the draw. And I sided in SCGTour because my opponent is a blue-black control deck with a lot of 1-for-1 trading type stuff and card advantage, and I figure there are a lot of games where SCGTour is going to just be a trump, but ignoring that, I also just have a super great aggressive curve here. Exalted creature into exalted creature into some goblins. Good chance SCGTour is never going to come up, but on the other hand, my hand total converted mana cost ignoring SCGTour pretty low. Totally possible that I'm going to empty my hand and not have anything else to do with my mana. If my opponent's draw is also good, they might be able to answer this, and SCGTour will presumably win a late game. So, great, well-rounded hand. Land is a very good draw. Land is almost always a good draw when you have a SCGTour, especially with stuff to do every turn before you can cast it. Attack for 2 on turn 2, 2 creatures in play. My opponent has a Ring of Zathrid, but plays a blue creature rather than a black creature. Not nearly as scary. And here I can safely hit for 4 and my opponent can't trade, so get way ahead on life and then play some goblins. And my opponent is going to miss a land drop and play Scroll Thief. Now my opponent has 3 power, so if I attack with the knight, they can double block and I can only kill one of the things, so I'm just going to attack with a goblin token, which will become a 3/3, which is enough to trade for either of my opponent's creatures. They obviously don't want to trade a creature for a goblin token, so they just take it. And I'm going to play the Battle Jester, get aggressive here. Also against black, I don't really want to just overexpose the Arms Dealer. Would already be horrible as is if they had something like Cower and Fear, yeah, that in particular. And losing an Arms Dealer also, instead of getting a creature in play that lives through that, would be really, really bad. Also, just any removal spell on Arms Dealer before I get to activate it when I have Goblin tokens to activate it with would not be a good situation. So now I'm going to play the Arms Dealer, trigger the Battle Jester, make this not block. Arms Dealer can kill this if I want, can get in with everything, but my opponent has Essence Scatter for my Arms Dealer, so just this can't block, so I'm going to take the opportunity to get in another 4 points. Get my opponent down to 7. And they have a random 4/3 guy. Doesn't really change things much. And my goblin tokens are still able to trade with any blocker, so I just send in a 3/3, let my opponent do whatever they want. At this point it's 7 life, they decide they have to trade. So Scroll Thief's not going to connect on a board like this, so I just kill the bigger creature. And I'm going to play Chronometon and Flying Primal Clay. That's a 4-power flyer with Exalted, so that's lethal in 2 hits. And my opponent plays a 1/1 for 3. It has some abilities, but the abilities don't matter right away. I draw another exalted creature, and one that I can play in the same turn as Jamde Tome, incidentally. So I play that, attack for 5 in the air, and play the Tome, which obviously is not likely to do anything in this game, but it's, you know, the kind of spot where it doesn't do anything, but it's a good problem to have. You don't have time to use it because your opponent is dead too fast. And yeah, they presumably can't stop the flyer or generally deal with all the things that are happening to them, and concede. So I won.